I'll come to you first. As someone who has been on the pitch, refereeing errors is something that's part and parcel of the game, and it happens even at the highest levels of the sport. We have seen very recently, a controversy with the Champions League semi-final also between Bayern Munich and Real Madrid as well. But as a player, this must be psychologically absolutely heartbreaking for the Indian players, for the men and for the Blue Tigers, because it's not every day that you come this close to perhaps qualifying for the World Cup.
Thank you, first of all, so much for having me, Tumiran and Ritangshu. See, like you just said, for a player, it's worse than heartbreaking. Heartbreaking would be a very, very small term to put it that way.
Yeah.
And if it happens to you repeatedly, then there is a problem. See, like you said, refereeing blunders and howlers are part of and parcel of mistakes. Like, for example, somebody taking a penalty does not want to hit it out, but sometimes it's just part and parcel that it hits the bar or it goes out. Same way, referees do make blunders. They're human beings. Now, that being said, for an important tournament like the World Cup and the qualifying rounds, and not the first rounds, this was a final kind of the final second rounds, which was going to lead up to the third rounds. You need to have VAR, and it's very surprising that where you have just hosted the World Cup a couple of years ago, in fact, the last year, you do not have VAR in a country like Qatar.
Indeed.
And yeah, because in fact, what I came to know was in the stadium we played, there were World Cup matches held and VAR was there. So now let me tell the viewers that VAR technology's main cost is the laying of the underground optic cable fibers which go all around the pitch to make sure that the cameras can be put in all the different angles. That's the main cost. Once that has been laid, the cost is very negligible. So that is surprising, one. But I want to point out to everyone, and I've done this research, on 13th October 2023, in the Merdeka Cup semi-final, India versus Malaysia, this thing happened again. The ball totally crossed the line. Chhangte's goal was disallowed, and this is the Merdeka Cup. And Malaysia went on to win it, and we could have easily won that tournament. Then the same thing happened to us in Thailand and against Iraq, where we were leading 2-1, 79th minute. Very soft penalty given against Sandesh Jhingan. Again, VAR being there would have overturned the decision, and we would have gone on to probably win that tournament as well. So what I was saying was that we should have been very vocal and critical about it then and there. Just because it's the Merdeka Cup or is there, we should have lodged very strong protests with the AFC and with FIFA. In fact, this views of mine are echoed even by our national team coach and everyone else, that AIFF needs to now make a stand where they show India, like in the BCCI, if this happened to us, trust me, there would have been repercussions either for the umpires or for the referees committee or something like that. And just because we are not a small power in football, we need to stand up for our boys, because it's worse than heartbreaking. See, that one decision in the 87th minute, three minutes before full time, meant that it's not only those 11, it's the entire country. It's the entire country being robbed of the most historical night we would have had as a footballing nation. It is the most historical night because we've never been to the third round of the World Cup qualifying. So it was history making which was denied to us. That is why we are so aggrieved.
Absolutely, Ranjit. Very well said, and thank you for bringing out all these details about previous instances where the Indian team has been shortchanged as well. Srinivasan, as someone who has represented football clubs and players in multiple disputes, both at the domestic and international level, I'm asking a question which every football fan in India is now asking. What can be done, if at all anything can be done?
Thank you, Ritangshu, for having me here. And I think, firstly, as a football fan, like Ranjit mentioned as well, it was a heartbreaking event, and we came probably the closest to the third round in all my life, for instance. And it's worse when, as a lawyer, you also know that there's not much that we can do. Like your colleague Karishma rightly pointed out, the result of the game would not be overturned, because if you look at the rules, the referee is the final authority of any facts related to the game itself, which includes whether a goal has been rightfully scored or not, or the result of the match. This flows both from the IFAB rules which govern the game, which say that any decision of the match officials have to be respected, and also flows down to the FIFA disciplinary code, which says that any decision that's taken by the referee on the field of play is final, and it cannot even be reviewed by any FIFA judicial bodies. I mean, in fact, we had a similar case in the Indian Super League recently as well, where the AIFF published their judgment, the disciplinary committee, saying they did not have the jurisdiction to go into it because the referee's decision remains final. I mean, it's all the more heartbreaking because we also know that any recourse from a legal perspective is also shut, and we will have to live with this and look at the remaining portion of the Asian Cup qualifying and prepare for the next round of World Cup qualifying as well.
That's depressing, in fact. But I respect Srinivasan for laying the facts as they are. Ranjit, you